Father will bless you. Please teach us your word again in Jesus' name. And we are still in the series titled Sister Rebecca. So this is Sister Rebecca part 5. Sister Rebecca part 5. In Genesis chapter 24, verse 33 to 59, that will be the text. So our text for this series will be Genesis chapter 24, verse 33 to 59. That will be our text, our Bible reading for this teaching. It is a dangerous thing to send a glutton on an errand, because when he sees food, he will completely forget what he is sent to do. When he sees food, he will totally forget his assignment. In Genesis chapter 24, verse 33, they placed food before Abraham's servant, but he said he will not eat until he had delivered the message from his master. Self-control is mouth control. Self-control begins with appetite control. It is not bad to eat, but you must learn to control your appetite. Learn when, how, and where to eat. Learn when, how, and where to eat. In Genesis chapter 24, verse 34 to 48, Abraham's servant narrated everything they needed to know about his master's family, his master's wish, and what happened on the way between him and their daughter, who happened to be Sister Rebecca. He was so faithful in his speech that nothing was added or subtracted. In Genesis chapter 24, verse 49 to 54, Abraham's servant didn't eat until he had ensured that they are ready to release Rebecca to him. That's how it should be. In a Christian home, God said is not a statement to joke with. When Rebecca's family heard him, they said, "This thing came from the mouth of the Lord. Who are we to say no?" In other words, they are saying when Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. That's why the best home ever is a godly home, because God said has no meaning except in a godly home. Don't abuse the word God said. How can God said Sister Bimbo is how can God say Sister Bimbo is your wife today, and tomorrow because Sister Bimbo's past was bad, you suddenly change it and say, well, God is saying it is no longer her? If God is saying it is Sister Bimbo yesterday, God will not change it today because she has a bad past. So check yourself. You need to be stable. Stability is also some of the things that qualifies for a relationship. Until you are stable, until you have a stable heart, you are not ready for a relationship. How can you say God spoke to you clearly about Bro Ayo and now say it is no longer him because he has no job? Let us stop making God look like an unserious old man. It is the picture we paint of God to men that will form their impressions about God. Many people currently think we can't be holy because some so-called Christians are dirty and they are living an unholy life. Many won't believe our God is perfect if we don't stop swimming in imperfections. Let's be guided. Don't let people curse God because of you. Don't be a stumbling block. In Genesis chapter 24, verse 55, the family didn't want to release Sister Rebecca quickly, not for wickedness, but for usefulness. They knew how useful she was to the family, so releasing her easily was a bit hard. So in verse 57, that's Genesis chapter 24, verse 57 to 58, they asked from Sister Rebecca if she will be willing to go so fast, and she said yes. This shows that she was not a spoilt brat. Some people will still delay the journey intentionally for their selfish desires. Rebecca didn't allow any further delay since she knew it was God's will. this is a great lesson to many of us who have the habit of delaying people unnecessarily. Sometimes what we call self-worth is just wickedness in disguise. Don't delay people unnecessarily. If they are not God's will for you, then let them go. But if they are, then give them an allowance to verify what they said to you concerning God. Give them a chance to prove what they have told you that God said. Don't cage people by pretending on their proposals. Be plain and be frank. It is better to let them go than to cage them with your instability. I can't imagine a lady delaying a brother for a year just because she wanted to hear God and get a confirmation. Is hearing God a certificate program that you must spend a year to attain, or what? When has hearing God becomes a master's that you must spend a year to be satisfied about? As a matter of fact, anyone delaying proposals for too long than the normal is unstable. Such people are trying to get alternatives, and as soon as they find one, they will just give you a capital no, not minding how long you have waited in order to move on with their new catch. I'm not saying we should just give response to proposals quickly and carelessly without consulting God, but what I'm saying is that we must not spend too long in giving a response. We should let people know where they stand with us, and most importantly, who they are to us. Define your relationship with an opposite sex in order to avoid heartbreaks. You may work with someone for 5 years and all they will tell you is that you are just like a friend to them and nothing more, whereas you might have been dreaming of marriage with such people. Considering the numbers of years you have spent as friends, most of what brings heartbreaks today is an undefined relationships. Know your friend and know your spouse. The Lord will help you in Jesus' name.